Chronic. Tick. Boom. It is that countdown clock that we are all waiting to see. From 10 to 1, we are counting down to the Royal Rumble. We are well and truly on the road to WrestleMania, and 2026 is shaping up to be a truly momentous year. Welcome, everybody, to my favorite podcast, your favorite podcast, everybody's favorite podcast and social media series. Welcome to the Meltdown. My name's Tom Finkill. I am going to be your journeyman. Yes, I am going to be the one enhancement talent's name that you're going to remember this week. It's going to be fun. It's going to be different. It's going to be fresh. And I'm representing good old Manchester here in the UK, where right now we're recording on Sunday night. Manchester United have just kicked off against Arsenal, so it's going to be an epic encounter. And speaking of epic encounters, it's always an epic encounter when I am sat across the pond from the finest man in any room. Ladies and gentlemen, he's my tag team partner. Let's reach on out. Hot tag. He's a 3-time tag team champion of the world. It's Brian Clark. Woo!
And ladies and gentlemen, that is coming from the maestro of the Meltdown himself. Tomcat, thank you for that fantastic intro. As always, you do it each and every week. You carry the masses. You're carrying me. You're doing it all, man. I'm going to tell you, by the way, a huge week of WWE action, including last night. We're going to get into that. So everyone who's new listening here, like, subscribe, check us out all the way to the end of this show because we have some big time exciting news. We have just confirmed 2 more big time guests coming up on the Meltdown, and also some very interactive stuff coming up. I'm thinking next month. You're gonna like it. And this one person that we're talking about, he's pretty much a big time social media influencer and very popular on the Comic-Con scene. So we're going to get into that a little bit later. But right now, Tomcat, are we going to talk about last night and what all happened with Saturday night main event?
It would be remiss of us if we didn't touch upon the hot topic of conversation as I woke up this morning and absorbed an incredible night of action. Saturday night's main event was off the charts for 4 wonderful feud building and progressing encounters that we're going to dive into. But one thing I want to touch on with you first before we get into the different matches is the feel for the actual show itself. We seem to have completely diverted away from what Saturday night's main event, especially for its rebirth, was meant to be, which was a show that was going to live on nostalgia but bring in the current product as the main feature. However, over the past couple of shows, I do feel that has completely fallen by the wayside. There was no mention of any legends. There were no legends in attendance. There was nothing that gave me that little old school feel on it. So my question to you would be, would you have kept Saturday night's main event as a feel-good nostalgia fest? Or do you like the way that they are just surging it just with current products?
And not because I'm in that era, because I am in that era, at least part of it. Yeah, I do like the idea of the nostalgia. I agree with you 100%, Tom. And there have been so many legends in the Montreal area. Of course, the Rougeaus, of course, our good friend PCO. There's so many legends in that area that they could have brought in, just had a little bit of camera time and chatted up, maybe just for a backstage segment. There was a spot for that. So I do think they have moved away from it. I hope that they go back to it. Of course, there was no Jesse Ventura, none of that, but they did have 13,000 people, and it was what, 7 degrees outside.
It,
So, uh,
ridiculous,
oh wow,
ridiculous numbers. I mean, I
overnight.
think
Oh yeah, sub-zero. It looked rough.
there was that mention that if you were to throw a hot cup of water in the air, it would instantly become snow. That is freezing, man. I mean, we battle elements every day here in
Yeah.
Manchester, but not to that degree. That is crazy, crazy. So we applaud everybody that went out to the show last night and hope you enjoyed it.
Yeah, I'm sitting here at 72 degrees and I'm staying here. Montreal, hey, love to visit you guys in the spring and the fall. Winter is off limits. It's rough.
Bryan sat there in 72 degrees, and my heart is currently weeping as we're here sat at zero. So, yeah, keep on going, brother. Keep on going. It's what life is living in that desert. Well, from a show that was originally built around nostalgia, we put that by the wayside last night and went full force with some epic encounters. We kicked things off with Rhodes, Cody Rhodes. The American Nightmare took on the Samoan Werewolf in a match that wasn't even a match. It just turned into the biggest arena-wide brawl that the WWE had seen in a while. For me, I was looking at this. I was quite excited to see how these two would pit in the ring. Their SmackDown encounters, their SmackDown promos had been very good over the past couple of weeks, and I was building up to something. Now, ultimately, they did give us something, but they didn't give us a clear and concise match. That could lead down the line to a match, which is completely fine. However, what did you think of this particular encounter and the way that it finished with the introduction of Drew McIntyre leading to the close of the segment?
Well, I like any segment that has Drew in it. But for me personally, I just did not like the fight, the brawl. If they were going to do it, it could have been much shorter as far as going as far up into the stadium as they did and coming down. I just couldn't get with it. I tried, I wanted to, and I understood the part with Drew coming in as the finish. But for me personally, I would have rather had a short match and let Drew interfere versus the brawl. I don't know why. I just didn't feel it whatsoever.
The one takeaway that I really got from it was on the positive side, and we are all about the positive side here on the Meltdown, is that some enhancement talent got paid that night. There was a lot of security there that was running around. Yes, they were
Yes.
getting waffled from left to right, but they were getting paid, baby. So let's keep on that track and keep people employed.
Yeah, that
I
is so
like that.
true. So many bumps from the guys, probably from what, the performance center, coming down, doing a little security work, and bow. Hey, I did it. I did security work back in the day. Almost got stepped on by Abdullah the Butcher. So yes, I've been there and I've done that.
Right. Whoa, 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 whoa. Let's do
Whoa,
our
whoa,
finest
whoa.
Mike Sharp. Whoa, whoa, wait a minute, wait a
Wait
minute,
a
wait a
minute,
minute.
wait a minute, wait a minute. Okay.
Where were you doing security? Where were you placed
Here
in
we
that
go.
spot? Come on, yeah, I need to know
I
all about this.
knew it was like oh, this is rough, man. I was dressed up as a ghoul, face painted white. You could barely recognize me. I was part of security, WCW, and this was 1990, Halloween Havoc. Yeah,
Amazing.
yeah. You wouldn't, because my hair's really all slicked back, and I said I'm completely dressed up as part of the show. But yeah, I did that back in the day. Oh yeah.
Okay, this is it. This is the moment that you listeners and viewers have been waiting for. If any of you can find that
Uh,
footage of Bryan as a ghoul security and send it through to our Instagram page
oh
at the
boy.
Meltdown Official, I'm going to send you something from over here in the UK. See what you can
Wow.
forward over. The first one that gets some stuff over to me. That's it, mate. You laid it up for yourself there.
Yeah,
I
I
can't
did
wait.
uh, I haven't thought about that, and well, until you mentioned security, I'm like, wow, wait a minute.
Wait a minute,
Been
wait a
there.
minute. I like it. So if you're trying to pinpoint it, I think Abdullah the Butcher's name was thrown around there. So
Oh,
it's
there
got
you
to be
go.
around the Abbey match, okay?
Hmm.
Take a look, see what you can spot. Well, we started off right. You started with a smile on my face, and we've given you guys a scavenger hunt. So excellent.
Yep.
We then moved on to our women's tag team champions as Rhea Ripley and Io Sky met the Judgment Days, Liv Morgan and Roxanne Perez. And the question that I've got for you, really brings it back to the 90s style of working as opposed to the style that we have today. I found this match was entertaining, but what I found in this match was that it was a veritable spot fest. You could see that they were going through the motions of trying to go from A to B to C to D to E that had all been pre-programmed.
Mhm.
My question for you is, as you were in the Fed and in WCW throughout the 90s, you'll have had road agents, they're called producers now. How involved were they within your matches at that particular time in comparison to how you think they're involved in matches now?
Well, I'll go with the last part first. I think they're very involved now. I think they know every single spot from the opening tie up to, the heat spot, the comeback spot. I think they're involved in all the false finishes because if you look in the back when they show production, for example, on some of the reveal shows, you'll see the guys sitting back going, okay, they're going to do this now. Here's the hope spot. We're going to cut them off here, get ready to go home. Boom, boom, boom. So it's they're very tied in together. Whereas back in WCW in the 90s, you would get, if it was a jump start, if it was a quick start to the match, we'd of course, let the agent know, the ref know. But there was a lot of stuff that we just did without really worrying about that. We knew, hey, here's the heat spot. We're going to come back off of this. We're going to this finish or false finishes. So we had, I think I feel like I know we did. We had much more leeway as far as how we're putting the match together and what we're going to do, and just give them the big high spots or the finish, of course. Yeah, it's a lot different, definitely.
You could really tell, and this is not
No,
a slant.
right,
The talent that is today is a completely different style of business.
right.
Everything is done for a purpose and to set up social spots and highlight real spots, and we need this spot for this, and we need this to mean this and this, that, and the other. And that's completely fine because that is the business today. However, I do feel that the art of professional wrestling seems to have fallen off slightly because they don't have to create these matches themselves. They are very much micromanaged. Everything has gone from A to B to C to D to E. Whereas back in the day, especially watching old stuff, and I am a big connoisseur of old school stuff. So everything from the 60s all the way through to the early noughties. And I felt that the guys and the girls were given a lot more leeway with exactly, and that's just to echo your sentiment, with what they had to do. They were given the start, they were given a particular high spot and a finish, and everything else that they did within that match was their craft. It was echoing their style. It was hitting the spots that they were wanting to hit. And if you guys want to go and check out something that is fresh and different and see that exactly exampled, the WWE Vault is a fantastic place to do it. And the WWE Vault have actually just put up a brand new house show. I'd never seen it before. It's never been released on any kind of media before. It is the Heart Attack Tour from October of 1994 from Montreal. Yes, it's a big city. That's where Saturday night's main event was held this week and featured our friend PCO and Jacques Rougeau up in the main event. But if you were to open that up, check out the opening match. It pits my tag team partner right there in his finest Adam Bomb attire. I love that attire with the big mushroom clouds. There he is, rocking it on the top rope. Adam Bomb against Quang. Under that mask is Savio Vega. And you can just tell they were working together in unison, building a match and building art, and that's why I always felt that professional wrestling was an art form. So go out your way and check that out. What was it like? I sent that to you this week. Did you manage
Yes,
to take a little peek of it and revisit? It's time has taken it was tipped away, I
I,
guess.
I did. I had no idea that was out there. Like you said, just released. So of course I sent it to PCO, and a few other guys that are, that we talk to on a regular basis in the business. But yeah, I was like, it's just a house show, but that's sort of where a house show should be. I mean, take your time. It's not like television where you're rushing through the match. You have a commercial. There, you take your time. You sit down and tell a story. You work your way out of holes, and you involve the fans. That's why they paid their money to see you. They want to see you work. So yeah, man, those days were fun. It was a tough schedule, as we all know. But working shows like that with that many people, because it's a massive crowd. Montreal always, even when in the lean years, they still turned out. So yeah, it was fun. I had no idea that that was even recorded. So there you go.
And the crowd went banana. It was amazing. It was lovely to see, and a wonderful trip down memory lane for me. You were rocking some sweet fringe bangs at that time as well. The hair was literally on fleek. Go out your way, check it
Uh,
out. Check out the Bomber taking on Quang, and a full-on fest of 90s nostalgia from the WWE. That's on the WWE Vault. As we progress through the card, we then go to two competitors that I do think are true artists. And it would be interesting to see how much the producers do have in terms of input when it comes to people like this, whether or not they micromanage as much. You could tell us. But it was AJ Styles taking on Shinsuke Nakamura in a match that was just a love letter to the wrestling fans. It was out of this world.
and it was a love letter because I loved it. I mean, it was great. They told the story. If you notice at the beginning, it took a while for them just to lock up, and they have worked each other. And to me, they brought a little bit of a Japanese style to, in this case, Canada, but to America and the world and everywhere else. So I love that style of it. It was very hard hitting, but yet they told a story, especially at the finish with with the shots back and forth that people were into it. So that was to me probably the match of the night, honestly, just because I love both their styles. So
Being a professional wrestling historian, I actually got goosebumps on my arm, just like The Rock shows you when he comes out. Goosebumps on my arm when we saw that final shot of them both on their knees,
yeah,
reaching for the fist bump, because that is a complete re-embrace of their final encounter in New Japan. That's exactly what they did with their last match in New Japan,
wow,
and that's the way that they finished it off.
yeah,
As we coming out of this particular scenario, this particular match, which again I felt was a love letter to the fans, we have got AJ Styles taking on Gunther at the Royal Rumble with AJ's career on the line. Let me throw this up to you. Is this the end for AJ Styles?
wow. I if you look at it on paper, you're going, yeah, that's it. But this is a business. They're a huge company. I don't think they're going to let that opportunity of making more money for the company, merchandise wise, the library wise. There's so many areas that they can make more money and run this the full year. I think they will run it probably the full year. Now, how they're going to get out of this, I'm not quite sure because of course, they have to keep Gunther strong as possible, which looks like they're doing right now. But yeah, even me, if it was my company, I'd say, yeah, why are we cutting him off? He just announced this last year of his deal. I'd say let's get as much as we can out of it.
Absolutely. And I think with the retirement of John Cena only being a month ago,
Yeah.
even though it seems like Christmas was a million years ago, it wasn't. It was literally a month ago. To go from John Cena hanging up the boots to AJ Styles hanging up the boots with a lot less steam, as it were, around his retirement, would be a bit of a sacrilege. It wouldn't. It would be tough to stomach that if you were one AJ Styles because he has had a monumental career. So let's hope they do something fresh and funky with the finish. It could be a DQ, it could be a count out, it could be any which way that AJ creeps that win to carry on his legacy going, and then they can build and build and build, similar to what they did with Ric Flair back in 2008. He would lose the next match. If he lost the next match, he had to retire. That was it. So they could even build on that story. So there's lots of things to do that we could do with AJ Styles. But a massive round of applause from us here in Manchester to AJ and Shinsuke for a brilliant match. We
Yes.
closed Saturday night's main event out with a four-way dance to determine who was going to be our WWE Championship #1 contender at the Royal Rumble, as we had hometown hero Sami Zayn taking on three epic customers. Let me take a look from my notes because I've done some piecing for each of the three of them. So we had. Let me take a look down here. Where are we building to? Randy Orton.
There you go,
Doesn't
Randy. Of
get
course.
much bigger than Randy Orton. Now, seeing as we just mentioned Randy Orton for now, I'm looking at the WWE title picture and I'm looking at the main event. So just while I get my ducks lined up,
Okay.
talk to me about this. Lots of our top level talent in the WWE right now are over the age of 40, which was really unheard of in Vince's day. He was all about the young talent. What do you think about that? You've got, I mean, looking down the list, we've got CM Punk, Finn Balor, Roman Reigns, Cody Rhodes, this low Randy Orton. They're
Yeah.
all over 40. Talk to me about that. Is age a factor now?
I think it's always a factor, but I also think that if you look at all those guys you just mentioned, there's one thing they have in common is that the look of a 40 plus year old, the fitness part of it, and they can all still work. So I think that that's the big part of it. If they were not if they were 40 and just sitting around and was not keeping up with ring shape, not just in shape, but ring shape. I think that's a huge part of it is, the look that you're giving the fans at home, if that makes any sense.
Yeah.
They're not your typical 40 plus year old guys. Every one of them, they all look really good shape, if not phenomenal shape. I mean, look at Roman. Look at Randy. I mean, probably this is
Look at
probably the
Finn
best.
Balor.
Yeah, Finn is just shredded, and Finn is a guy that can work all day and night. Man, he's just fantastic. So I think that's the one connection that they all have, and then of course they all have that television time that you just those that many years of being on at least weekly or being involved in a storyline, so you're getting that exposure. So you never really go away. They're always just sort of there in some sense, and that also helps to keep them to keep people believing that hey, this guy can still go.
A well-greased cog in a massive machine, and they
Yeah,
are constantly moving, constantly on the
yeah,
television, constantly relevant. And that was no much more amplified than this past Monday night when we saw the return home of Finn Balor against CM Punk, and the reaction that he got from that Belfast crowd was unbelievable. And the match that they put on was epic. Should we have Finn Balor in a world championship spot one more time? Do you think it's worthy of him, or do you think that the spot that he's currently got in nurturing talent in the Judgment Day is where Finn should be?
no, I would love to see him have another title run. I think his first one was cut short because of the injury.
Yeah.
So it was really, I say unfair. Injuries happen, and we just have to accept that fate. But with him, man, he was on such a roll, and I think he's right there. So if they had to say, okay, somebody needs to step up, he would be able to do it immediately. But as far as him getting another run, I absolutely would love to see that.
Babyface or heel?
Oh, it'd have to be face,
Yeah.
and then bring part of the demon part back at times, you know, with the whole makeup and everything. I think that would be, and think about the merchandise that would do. Wow. I'm
That's
always thinking merchandise.
That's what it's all about, brother. It's
Hey,
dollars in the cash register. Make it
yeah.
ka-ching. Go for it. Create. It's what we're all
Mhm.
about. Make it special. We'd love to see that one more time for Finn. Being a European countryman, it's exactly what we'd like to see over here in the pond. Give him one more shot at
Yeah.
that glory and go out in a blaze of that
Yes.
glory. The other two names that we were going to mention as I was coming down the list, we saw Randy Orton. There was, of course, Damian Priest, who I love as an in-ring competitor. However, I do feel that his steam has been brought down
Yes.
quite a
Yes.
lot.
Mhm.
And the brand new debuting Trick Williams, who I thought had a brilliant encounter for his first time on a WWE main show, whether it be Raw, SmackDown, or in this case, a big main show in Saturday night's main event, prime time. I thought they both did brilliant. What did you think of the match itself?
It was good. I was not, of course, I thought the AJ Nakamura match was the match of the night. I didn't hate the four way. I wasn't crazy about it. For me, it was passable. Like I said, all the guys looked great. I totally agree with you. Damien's lost a lot of steam. Just the way he's been used. It's not necessarily his fault. That happens at times. You lose steam by the way you're booked. And unfortunately, right now for him, um, it's just not there. Um, and again, they're going to push Sammy, of course, really hard because they're getting ready to go to Saudi. But yeah, I overall, good, but again, not the level because there was four people in that match and everybody has to get their stuff in. But again, for me, the match of the night would definitely be AJ and Shinsuke. Yeah,
Completely. I
yeah,
thought it was exactly echoing those. Good, but not earth-shattering.
yeah.
You did mention something in there in regards to the booking, and I wanted to question you on this, and I've not actually put it in a note. So this is completely out of left field,
All right.
because a big thing that we were talking about a little bit earlier on is Netflix and their impact on the world of professional wrestling since taking over from the WWE network last year in 2025 and this year for our Peacock subscribers. And one of the shows that they have on Netflix is WWE Unreal, which is a pullback of the curtain to show the fans exactly what is going on backstage in booking meetings, in arrangement with agents, in terms of the superstars getting themselves prepared. What do you think of pulling the curtain back this far?
Wow, it's a different level of doing it. There were times back in the 90s and early 2000s where there would be reporters or people trying to and there would be interviews. And of course, like at the power plant, they would invite TV studio people to come down and film segments and stuff. But this is on a different level when you're actually in the gorilla position, filming where they're calling the spots, showing. I don't dislike it. I don't hate it because that's just the way the business has evolved.
Mhm.
Um, but yeah, and I have watched part of that series. I was watching it up. I'm up to where they have Jelly Roll as a part of it and all the work he put into it. Now, for example, a guy like him who just what I see, I've never met him, don't know him, but what I see, I can tell he really respects the business.
Mhm.
I think he put a lot of effort into it, considering he's a full-time artist, musician, traveling the world. But to watch the effort that he put into it, the weight drop, and I can tell he really likes being around the boys and being part of the business. There's times that, like I said, you just got to evolve, and,
Yes.
and and that's the part of it. So if that puts more eyes on the product at the end of the day, I think and you're getting more subscribers to your network and to the product and the merchandise and all those parts that go to creating that money train. So yeah, we'll know if it hurts the business or not real soon.
We will when those
Yeah,
numbers do indeed roll in from Netflix.
yeah.
I did see some Netflix UK numbers this past week. They were good, but they were on a bit of a decline. So I'm hopeful that now that everything has transferred over onto the US Netflix, that things will start to boost. We looked at, I think their numbers for the Royal Rumble last year were like 3.9 million views, which is great. However, their final pay-per-view of the year, I think, garnered 1.8 million. So that's quite a bit of a drop. That's half. So let's hope that 2026 surges. Netflix does a great job. For those of you that are joining us in the States, you're going to be able to check out the Royal Rumble not on Netflix. You'll be able to check it out on ESPN. So let us know your reports as exactly how ESPN are dealing with that. But we don't get it over here. Everything's on Netflix based. So keep us posted about how you like the products now and the way that it's presented and how you like the product back in the day. Send us your love letters and tell us exactly what you think. You're our listeners. You're our viewers. You are the Meltdown family, and we want you to have your input. Tell us all about what you think of the product right now. Well, we've come to a spot where I want to take the product that we are seeing on the screens right now, and I want to put under the magnifying glass the products that we saw and loved back in the day. And we are coming up to one of the biggest shows of the year. It is one of the most exciting, one of the most memorable, one of the must-see shows of the pro wrestling calendar. It's Royal Rumble season, peeps, and we are sat with a man who has been in not one, but two of the big Royal Rumble matches of 94 and 95. So, got to quiz Bryan a little bit about how the Royal Rumble match itself is booked. And seeing as the WWE are pulling back the curtain with Unreal, we're going to pull the curtain back just a smidgen, just so you can get just one eye poking through, and Bryan can tell us a little bit about how the match is put together when he was a wonderfully big name in the WWF in the 90s. So talk to us about how the match is booked. How was it put out to you? I mean, in my head, it would be a case of it's a boardroom meeting with the talent that's going to be in the ring. But you can tell me something completely different. How is it booked?
Well, you're partially right on that, Tom. At least when I was there, I remember us doing it in sections. When I say that, as far as like the first 1 through 10, and then how did 10 and 11 integrate to get to the next group of guys? So, for example, if you had guys who were at 28, 29, and 30, they wouldn't be talking much with 10 or 8 or 7 because they're not even going to see them. So you would really focus on where you were at in that full lineup. Yes, there would be a big board with everybody on it, who's going out when, how they're going out. That would a lot of times would be dependent on if there is a program that is tied in there, or are you just being eliminated just to get you out and get the next person in. Because there are times you do not want too many people in the ring because it just becomes a big cluster. And like when I was in that time period, they did do that. It got too full too fast, or either it was really overloaded at the end, and that stopped you from seeing some good things that could have happened with a smaller group of people, if that makes sense.
Okay.
Less talent, but you're right on the overall part. Yeah, there was a big board, but again, like I said, 1 through 10 would get together, and then of course the other guys that were in their numbers and their spots there, everybody would know how the layout went, so everybody was on cue and on point about when they're going in, how they're getting out. So
okay, that's fascinating to me. That's something that I've never heard before. So that's really eye-opening. So from a basis of you going into the ring, are you given an amount of time that you're going to be in there? Is there any kind of cues from the referees that are around the outside, or are you just waiting to interact with that particular name that you've seen is going to be throwing you over the top? You do your stuff and then you're gone.
Yeah, well, the referee would give us a cue or let us know as much as he could. But yeah, we would do something with that person. And then if it wasn't time, I could break off and go do something else, somebody else, wait another minute, work another spot with someone else, and then come back if it's time, and then either go out or stay in, depending on what's called. But yeah.
Yeah, it's
That's
a fascinating match.
Yeah. It takes a lot. It really does. I mean, there's a lot of creative booking. And then, of course, and then the ways that guys that are eliminated, they even get really creative on that. So
yeah,
it
well,
is
let me touch on this. Yeah.
Okay.
All right. So you were in 2 Royal Rumbles, 94 and 95.
Sure.
Do you remember who eliminated you in both Rumbles?
The same person?
No, 2 different people.
Okay.
We're now peeling it back.
I think my partner got me out in one. Am I right?
Yep, 95 Crush threw you out. That's it.
Okay. All right. And then what's the other 94?
94.
Yeah.
Yep.
Who threw me out? Face or heel? You gotta give me a hint here.
Big baby face. Big baby
Oh.
face. It couldn't have been a bigger baby face at the time.
Wow. Was it Randy?
Nope.
No. Oh, okay. Brett?
Nope.
Oh,
Really?
am I close?
Yep. Really,
Oh,
really
man.
close that year.
Wow. Oh, you stumped me good here. Okay, I don't know. I don't have it.
Do you want a clue? Do you want a clue?
Yeah, sure.
He had the best boss ever.
Oh, my Lex. Wow.
There you go.
Wow.
Yeah.
I didn't remember. Lex Luger, the package, threw me out. Okay.
It was a run and charge, and he grabbed the ropes and pulled it down.
Oh, yeah. So I put myself out, really.
You put yourself out.
Yeah,
You see? There you go. Put yourself over. I love it. Literally. I love that.
Yep.
So as we go back to the night 4, you were number 30. You were the big number 30 spot. Loved it. Throwing it out there with Harvey Whippleman. That's
Yeah,
just a
yeah.
little clue. There we go. Wink, wink.
Big wink. Okay.
Number 30, brilliant, massive spot. And if you remember in the 1994 Rumble, it was very innovative what they did with the finish because we didn't just have one winner, we had two winners in the form of Bret the Hitman Hart and Lex Luger, who went over the top rope and their feet hit incredibly simultaneously. It was like serendipity. It was just meant to be. It was just boom. So good. But I need to ask you, in terms of how they built to that spot, was there any rehearsal during the day? Did you see them interacting to create that spot and how they were going to do it so in sync together?
I did not see them going over it out in the ring. I'm sure they probably talked. They may have even went to the ring and discussed it. But the odds of those two hitting at the same time was great. They really, both of those guys really brought it. I mean, I was watching it back, like you said. I mean, yeah, I don't think you got any closer than that. So it worked out perfectly. It really did. Yeah, I'm sure that, of course, they talked it over, I'm sure, most of the day discussing. But again, that's a timing thing with body weight coming down at the same time. So that's hard to pull off, but they did it.
They did an amazing job at it. So
Yeah.
massive applause for us. And that was 32 years ago. Wow. And they did such a sensational job of selling it. Howard Finkill did an amazing job of selling it at the end, not knowing who to announce as the winner. And it built up to something special, something different. It was WrestleMania 10. It was an event that was going to have to be next level. And I felt that they did it with a double main event. So kudos to Bret, kudos to Lex. And well done for throwing my partner out over the top, or just dropping that line. Yeah, it was awesome. Now we didn't see anything like that again until accidentally, as we progressed through with John Cena and Batista in 2005. Have you ever seen clips of this with John and Batista doing
I
the?
did not. No.
Okay, so let me give you the skivvy of this. So
Okay.
it was a case where it was not going to be a twin win. It was like Bret and Lex. It was meant to be a case of Batista going over. However, both men flew out over the top rope and both of their feet hit at exactly the same time. So creatively, you've got to think of something on the fly as to what you've got to do. However, before they got to that creative spot, a certain Vincent Kennedy McMahon decided to absolutely blow every gasket that was in his brain and storm out to the ring. I am so surprised you've not seen footage of this.
I'm sure I have. It's not clicking with me right now, but go
He
ahead.
was pissed. He was pissed. He was doing that power walk down to the ring. And as he hit the ring, he hit his thighs on
Oh,
the
yeah.
ring apron
Is
and
that where he blew?
popped both his quads.
Oh, of course, of course. Yes, yes, I've seen that clip dozens of times. Yes.
Hilarious.
Oh, yeah.
Hilarious. As you've got
I
your
remember.
boss sat down like a giant baby chastising you live on pay-per-view.
Yes, I remember it. Yeah, of course. Blew out both quads. Wow.
Wow. That must have been painful, right? Jesus. Could you imagine that? He must have been
Had to
going
be.
on sheer adrenaline
Oh,
and he
yeah.
wasn't selling it.
No, it didn't sell it really. You just sort of sat down and just, you know, gave him the business from down low.
Wag that finger. Apparently, that's the way
That's
that
it.
McMahon likes to roll. Is,
Yeah.
uh, is is giving you the business from down low. But let's scoot. Let's scoot on to the next section as we carry on from the Royal Rumble. So one of the biggest facets of the Royal Rumble is surprises. So let's talk about this year and what you think if there are going to be any surprise names in the Rumble and what the Riyadh crowd's reaction is going to be.
Oh, there'll definitely be some surprises. I'm not really sure which direction. I think they will not go so much the Hollywood route. I
Mhm.
think it'll probably be just workers.
I think so.
I'll be surprised. Now, could they bring back some legends and slip some in there occasionally, a couple spots? There's possible. Same thing with the girls Rumble. Same thing. There's definitely some people that Trish Stratus could slide in there and definitely be a contender.
Yeah.
There's a lot of girls that could come back. Of course, AJ Lee will probably be in there also. But on the men's side, I still think I don't know. I haven't heard anything lately on the Jericho news. I'm not sure about that.
Okay.
He's one guy that I think of, but then I also think to myself, wow, that's more of a US
Yeah, keep that.
re-entering of the universe kind of thing. So yeah, I'm not really sure who would be who they've got in mind for surprises.
But that's a good state to be in. It's
Yeah,
always nice to be actually genuinely surprised when you see a
I
person
like
who
that. Yeah,
it
I
is
agree.
a big selling point for me and something that gets me excited going into Rumble season. Just while we talked about Jericho, I was having this conversation with my son last night as we were traveling to our event, and he pointed out very, very rightly that Fozzy is actually over here in the UK for a big tour as of the week after the Rumble. So if you were to bring Jericho back in Saudi and then not have him for the next foreseeable weeks, what does that mean? It then
Uh-oh.
means nothing. It negates everything if he's not on the shows moving forward, right?
Yeah,
So it's almost a definite certainty that we're not going to get Jericho in the Rumble, which I am quite okay with. I'm all right with that because, as you said, the pop is not going to be as good as if it was back over in the US. So let's keep it, let's fester it, let's build it back to the return of the Ayatollah of rock and roller. But as going from the surprise side, I
Mhm.
want your predictions now. So let's just bring it back up to the current product. Tell me, who do you think is going to be walking away pointing at that WrestleMania sign from both the men's and the women's Rumble matches? I'm going to write them down. I'm going to check them
Oh,
out.
okay, all right. I from the men's side, I just it almost seems like it's going to be someone out of Paul Heyman's crew. And when I say that, I'm thinking you got three great choices there. You've got Logan,
Yep.
Bronson, and of course Braun Breaker. Any of those three, I would lean more towards Logan just because of his social media presence. I think it's going to happen sooner or later. And the thing about it is he can actually work. He's gotten so much better. He's a guy that has improved and he's learning a lot. He's sitting under the learning tree right now, and that tree being Paul Heyman.
Mm-hmm.
So he's getting a ton of information, a ton of knowledge each week. Same with Braun Breaker. He's getting a lot of knowledge being shared down. So I'm going to narrow it down to those two.
Logan
Breaker,
and Braun.
Braun, yeah. And if I have to go with one, I would go with Braun Breaker just for the fact that he would be, well, I just, there's certain things about him that he has that it quality. I think he would be ready and available, whereas Logan may not be because of other commitments, where Braun is under contract and he could be booked for the next 6 months, 8 months, however long they needed him. So
Yeah.
that would be my pick on the men's side.
Okay, just before you come to the women's side,
Yeah, okay.
let's touch on this because we did this back in November, and I want to see whether or not things have changed because I've just loaded up Paddy Power's odds
Oh,
for
here we
the
go.
Royal
All right.
Rumble match. So
Okay.
let me give you your guesses and exactly what odds the bookies currently have on here in the UK. So Bron Breaker is currently at 3.5 to 1. So that is good odds. In fact, he is second favorite just behind Roman Reigns, who is sat at 1.8 to 1. So it's pretty much evens on Roman Reigns. Next names down the line, Sami Zayn, big name. Oba Femi coming from NXT. Gunter is at 8.5 to 1. I don't know. He has actually declared for the Rumble match. That's something else we want to talk about in a minute. Cody Rhodes, LA Knights, Jacob Fatu, CM Punk, champion. Brock Lesnar is at 13, Randy Orton at 15 to 1, Seth Rollins and Dominic Mysterio, and a returning Kevin Owens. That's
Oh,
my son's favorite to return to the Rumble. They're at 17 to 1. And then we have Logan Paul at 21 to 1. That might be worth putting $1 on.
yeah. That's and I forgot about Kevin Owens. I was not sure about his return. I didn't know how well he was coming along with the neck injury. So, I mean, that's
Yeah.
good that he's able to come back.
Well, fingers firmly crossed. He might
Right.
be the surprise that we've been waiting for. I know that Charlie has been waiting for Kevin Owens to return.
All right.
So let's keep our fingers crossed for that. Interestingly enough, though, the same odds that are on Logan Paul winning the Rumble is the same odds that The Rock has got winning the Rumble. So we will see this at this point next week.
Yeah.
Right, let's go on over to the women's side, and you can give us a few names that you think are going to be left standing at the end.
Well, she's one of my favorite right now. I'm gonna have to go with Stephanie Vaquer. She's really one of my top favorites. But then if I had to pick, yeah, I'm a big fan of Raquel Rodriguez
Me
also.
too.
So both of those, if I had to narrow it down, I would say Stephanie would go over. But again, if they wanted to go with a heel getting the title or getting the Rumble winner, I would say maybe Rock,
Raquel, yeah.
yeah, Raquel, yeah.
I
So
think she's
those are mine
excellent in the
too.
role.
Yeah, I've been a fan of hers even when she was the babyface coming out and she do the big back lap pose, and I know she had a little bit of health issue there, came back from it, and is doing great work. I like the way I like her style, but then again, Stephanie is just wow, she's red hot right now. So and looks
White
great.
hot, as we say.
Oh yeah,
Yes.
exactly.
Well, let's take a look and see exactly what the
Yep.
odds are when it comes to the women's side and where your picks currently are. So, as it stands with the women's 30-woman Rumble match, these are the odds that Paddy Power are offering right now. Big surprise at the top would be a returning Bianca Belair. She is
Oh
currently
yeah,
at
yeah, yeah,
1.8 to 1. So that is a one to watch and would be a big pop for her return. She's
yeah.
been gone for about 6, 8 months right now. Liv Morgan, Tiffany Stratton, Rhea Ripley, Becky Lynch, they're all under 10 to 1. Then you got Roxanne Perez, AJ Lee returning. They're at 13 to 1. Lyra Valkyria, Lash Legend, Charlotte Flair, Stephanie Vaquer, they're all at 15 to 1. Let's see where Raquel is. Raquel, right now, sat in the exact same position as Logan Paul, 21 to
Okay.
1. So they're
Yeah.
outsiders, but I could definitely see them, especially with the amount of TV time that they're putting into Raquel Rodriguez. She might be the outsider right now that I can see going over.
Yeah, and my picks are based on what I like and my bias to those two. I just, I'm a fan of their work.
Yeah.
Some of the other names that you mentioned, like Tiffany Stratton and of course Bianca returning, I completely forgot about her.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's so many different. I think they have more options in the women's division to shake things up than I do with the men.
Now, I was watching another one of the friends of the show, Jimmy Corderis's Reffing Rant of the Day.
Right.
And it was something that I sat there and I watched and I listened to. And he had such an amazing point to make when it came to how people get into the Royal Rumble match. Because it's like all they need to do is go out on TV, grab a microphone, and declare that they are in the Royal Rumble match. When it could be so much more. The WWE have got such a massive talent pool right now that you could create scenarios on any of your shows because you've got B shows, you've got C shows to direct viewers towards that to have Royal Rumble entrant qualifying matches. And you could put anybody against anybody. And it's must see viewing if you're putting a legend against a newcomer with a view that you don't know who's going to go over and then put them in the spot and maybe leave 3 spots open for surprises. I think that there's so many avenues that the WWE could go down with creating more content for the Royal Rumble than what they do right now. What do you think? Do you think that there's room there to do something like that?
It made me think that similar to what we used to do, and I still think they do it, but the King of the Ring qualifying matches.
Yeah.
So you could easily, like you said, that's a really good idea. And there's enough television time when you look at NXT, all the other shows. There's definitely time to set up, designate. You start it in December, whatever you want to, 8 weeks prior to the show, whatever.
Yeah.
But you could still each week have a segment that this is a Royal Rumble qualifying match. Yeah,
Yes.
so it's not a bad idea at all. No way. I like it.
I think it's a good idea to extend a particular show because the Royal Rumble is the biggest singular match of the year, seconded only to maybe Money in the Bank. But the Royal Rumble is for me and so many other fans around the world the biggest singular match of the year. That I think that they could build to it so much more. It always seems over the past however many years that they do everything in monthly chunks. You are building from the start of the month to the end of the month for that pay-per-view, and then it's repeat next again, ready for the pay-per-view, and then we'll do it again. And the feud will generally last that month, unless you've got mega feuds like CM Punk and Seth Rollins, which will last for years. It always seems to be in monthly chunks. And I hate to see it with the Royal Rumble just be a monthly chunk. As you've just said, they could start it in November and December and do these matches because you've got so much to go forward to. People striving to get in. And don't divulge which numbers they're going to get, because that's a pet peeve of mine as well. That really pisses me off when you're like, and this person is number 1, this person's number 2, this person's number 30. Have it as a big surprise who's going to be number 30. I was surprised when Adam Bomb walked out there as number 30. I remember popping off my couch at 10 years old. Yes! Going, I was always a member of the Bond squad. Heel or face.
Love it. I'm the same way. I like the surprise part of it. I get a big pop out of it when someone comes back that I had forgotten about, or I had just have not had any television time as of late, or it's a new signee or somebody that they've just signed, and or someone who's getting elevated to the next show. So I think there's room for it. I like it. Again, think about it. It's what are you doing after Christmas? Yay, Christmas is here, New Year's is here, and then there's a little bit of a dip in what things to look forward to. But wait a minute, it's Royal Rumble time, and then there you go. You get the big show. End of the month. Yeah, why not?
I think so. I think it's definitely something to build towards. When it comes to surprises, it comes to building and it comes to moments. The Royal Rumble certainly does provide us with some epic, sensational times, and they have done since its inception in 1988. But a big question for you, big man. What are some of your most memorable Royal Rumble moments over the years? Things that have stood out to you, whether or not you've been in it in 94, 95, or outside of that bracket, anything that has stuck out to you as a true Royal Rumble moment?
Not necessarily that happened to me, but just some of the moments that I remember. Trying to think of his name right now. The guy that ran, was that going to the Rumble where he slid under the ring, or is that a different
Oh,
spot?
that was incredible.
Was that
Yes.
well,
Titus O'Neil.
there you go.
That
Right, it
was
was
in
the Rumble,
Saudi as
right?
well. Yeah, that was in
Oh,
Saudi.
okay. Yeah, yeah. Okay, so that one. And then think of the times that Kofi was eliminated, but he managed to walk on his hands to get back. Those kind of things, for some reason, I remember those. Or either the bushwhacker coming in and going out. The I don't know, the levity side of it, just sort of, I like that on occasion. But yeah, there's always like you just mentioned earlier with Lex and Brett. I mean, what timing. Those are Royal Rumble moments that we'll always remember.
One that always sticks out in my mind is exactly how they built around the 1992 Royal Rumble, in that the winner became the WWF champion. That was the Rumble that Ric Flair went from number 3 and won it all. An incredible showing, 62 minutes in the ring, last eliminating Sid Justice after Big Sid had thrown Hogan over, and the crowd went crazy at the fact that everybody's favorite red, white, and blue waving, red and yellow wearing, ear cupping, immortal, vitamin eating, prayer saying legend of Hulk Hogan had been disposed of by Sid Justice, was epic. I remember popping on my couch and then Rick walking away with it. And then the promo they cut afterwards with a tear in my eye. Amazing. It was 4 years ago now, and I still remember every moment in that Rumble. It was laden with talent. It was just amazing. And they're the kind of moments that we want WWE to produce for the generation that is watching now, that might be 7, 8, 9, 10 years old, that will remember them when they get to 40 years old. So produce TV that's going to be on everybody's lips for the next 30 or 40 years, because that man right there, he produced TV that's still on everybody's lips right now. Well, let's have a little look. Before we close the chapter on the Royal Rumble, one thing that I did notice out in the 1995 Royal Rumble was a mainstream star that was ringside and had a mega presence at WrestleMania. She was Baywatch sensation Pamela Anderson. What kind of interactions did you guys have with Pamela? How was she in and around the boys? Did she have any kind of celebrity chip on her shoulder? How was Pam?
Oh, she was nice as she could be. Very professional around the boys. I even shot a commercial for Royal Rumble. We were in Malibu, actually, uh, California coast. There it was Lex, myself, I think Sean, Kevin,
Yep,
Bushwhackers.
there you go.
Okay, that was the crew. I have some great photos to send you from that shoot. But yeah, we had a really good time doing that. Again, very professional. Yeah, I think it was a good thing to have that little mix, the tie in there with her. Yeah, she did a good job.
Yeah, she did, and
Yeah.
she put herself over so amazingly well. Sean did
Mm.
an amazing job of staying from number one all the way to the end. I mean, we know he's such a workhorse as he is, but
Mhm.
then to flex in the ring, it's just, I guess, unlucky in terms of timing for the WWF, because the month before she got married to Tommy Lee, so a lot of the steam had come completely off it, and I bet the
Yeah.
boys were absolutely devastated when they heard that news in the back. I bet there was a lot of flexing going around.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think everybody can, because she was like the hottest girl on the planet at the time. But I think everyone uh, showed their professionalism around her. I don't ever recall anything being uh, out of hand with it. Yeah.
Good, good. That's nice. The boys were on their best behavior.
Yes, exactly. That's what we're thinking. The best behavior that they could possibly do for themselves in that situation. Yes.
And there was a motley crew in 19 no pun intended there. There was a motley crew in 1995. I loved the way that they heard that they were in their best behavior. Well, speaking of best behaviors, we need to know that you guys are on your best behavior and you are subscribing to the Meltdown in every which way you possibly can. So be on our Christmas card list by checking us out on your Facebook, your Instagram, your Twitter, your TikTok, and especially on YouTube. If you are checking us out on YouTube, key in at Real Bryan Clark. If our video has just popped up in front of you and you've checked us out for the very first time, check out at Real Bryan Clark, where you can subscribe, ring that notification bell, and comment on our product. Leave us that little like. It puts a smile on our face and love in our hearts. And when it comes to our socials, there's so many different ways that you can interact with us. Once again, hit up our Instagram at the Meltdown Official. That is the official home of the Meltdown. And in the next coming weeks, you're going to have an official home of the Meltdown on Facebook as well. So you guys can send us your pictures, your images, your comments, your beautiful timeline of our product. And I'd like to send out a massive shout out to Adam on our Facebook groups that is constantly sharing our products. So Adam, thank you so much for doing an incredible job of keeping the name of the Meltdown strong each and every week, brother. We are going to drop in a We're Not Worthy and a little yeet for you. A yeet. There you go. Adam, that's just for you, brother. But big man, tell them where you can interact with yourself on socials.
Absolutely. Tomcat, I am at Real Bryan Clark on X, Bryan Clark 3X Champ on Instagram. And of course, don't forget our official Meltdown page on Instagram. We'd love to hear your questions. If there's anything that you want to know that we can answer, because usually we can. And another to circle back to our buddy Adam Sentif over. He's a phenomenal guy. We've been friends for years and years. Much love to him. He always supports our program, and he does great birthday celebrations for all the boys each month. Just a great guy, and I'm glad he's part of our team along with our big time buddy Jonathan O'Dwyer. We got so many great people working with us, man, and I'm just proud to call them friends. And that's the good thing about us. This is not work. This is fun. We're having fun doing this, and we're going to keep doing it. And we're going to get better. And we've got more big stars coming up. You're gonna like them because we're getting people that sometimes some shows they put the same guy and he'll just do a run of. We're trying to find those hidden diamonds, and we have found them. So cannot wait to share those with you.
Yeah, I'm wondering whether or not we share a couple of little secrets, but we might do it on social media so you guys can get ahead of the game and send us your questions for the talent that we're going to be showcasing here on the Meltdown. I think that might be a good idea. So keep your eyes peeled, seeing as we've just dropped all the social links on you. Log into those. Make sure you subscribe. It doesn't cost you anything. It's free to subscribe. So do it. Go out of your way and doing it. And as we're talking about opportunities, there are opportunities galore when it comes to the Meltdown. We are one big team. We have got all sorts of different contacts in socials and graphic design. There is so much that works to create this show each and every week for you guys. But we would love to be unified with some sponsorship. So let us know if your brand needs the rub from the creation of devastation and the Tomcat here in Manchester. We can create something fun. We can share that love. And yes, it is all about you. So if you've got a product, if you've got a brand, if you've got a service that you would like us to shill, we will go bend over backwards and shill everything for a shilling. That's what it's all about. So get in touch and let us know if your company would like the rub of the Meltdown. We're here to talk to you. So I think this is a great place to wrap everything up and a nice big bow for our Royal Rumble preview show. It's been a pleasure sitting over, as always, from my tag team partner to chat a little wrestling. It's what we're here for. And let's check in next week when we're going to find out exactly who the winners are of the Royal Rumble men's and women's matches, who's walking out of Riyadh as champion, and who is going to be pointing up at that WrestleMania sign to kick off that road to the showcase of the Immortals. So from here in Manchester, I'm going to bat it over to Bryan to close things out. But from me to you, one love. We will see you next week. A kaboom.
Thank you, Tomcat. A couple more shout outs while I was thinking about this. Of course, our friends at Title Run Toys, they are smashing it. The new, was it Nikolai? Or no, excuse me,
Nikita.
Nikita. It's the new
Nikita.
Nikita.
Ooh.
Has sold out. Has sold
Wow.
out. So yes, it just flashed up on my social media, and I wanted to get that out there. But they have so many great guys that are coming on board. I mean, legend after legend. I'm very proud to be a part of that team. Those guys are doing such great work. And also a big time shout out, and I know Tomcat will agree with me. Our buddy Ben Veal has hit the 100,000 subscription mark, ladies and gentlemen. That's right, 100K. So our buddy Ben Veal. So Ben, man, from both of us, we really appreciate you and all the things you've done to help us grow. And I also will be doing an interview with Mr. Ben Veal coming up next week. So we'll tell you all about that coming up. But again, big shout out to Title Run Toys and our buddy Ben Veal. And of course, Jonathan and Adam and all the people that are behind the scenes that are helping this station continue to grow. So much love from all of us right here on the Meltdown. I will be signing out. That is the Tomcat. I am the Bomber, and we are always breaking necks and cashing checks. We will see you next week.
A boom.